Imagine your body as a perfectly calibrated human seesaw. At one end, you have the head, and in the other hand, the pelvis. And connecting these 2 points, there is your spine, ensuring balancing, flow of movement, and also support. When this trio is working harmoniously, we move with ease and grace. But any misalignment in this relationship can turn what should be effortless into strenuous, leading to imbalances that will ripple throughout the whole structure. Today, we're diving deep into the understanding of the seesaw and this intricate balance in between these body parts, noticing how they function together and harnessing this knowledge for a pain-free and graceful existence. Perhaps you've come across this video because you suffer from back issues and you're seeking relief to pain or discomfort. Or maybe you're ignited by a spark of curiosity that compels you to understand and master the capabilities and nuances of your spine. In this class, I will not be offering quick fixes or temporary solutions. For what I wish is to empower you to recognize and address potentially harmful habits that you have deeply ingrained in your movements. Relying solely on quick fixes or external help means missing the opportunity to truly connect and understand your own body. So instead, I will guide you through a profound and relaxing experiential understanding of your own body's architecture. We'll explore together very gentle and nuanced movements that were specifically designed to sharpen your awareness. And then I'll direct your focus so you can observe the rippling effect of these moves throughout your whole body. By the end of this lesson, you will not just gain a deeper awareness of your spinal alignment, but you will also be fostering a more intuitive and harmonic relationship with your entire body. So whether you're an artist striving for seamless grace, an athlete chasing for that differentiated input to enhance your performance, or simply someone who wishes to have your life enriched by awareness and movement, this class's insights promise to be invaluable. So to participate in this class, all you need is a floor space, a mat or a blanket so to lie on, maybe a pad or a book to place behind your head for added comfort, and also extra layers on the side just in case you get cold. Make sure you have a very serene and quiet space so you can fully immerse yourself in this experience. Once you have all of these elements gathered, let's get started. So please lie on your back comfortably. Spread a little bit your legs, your arms, finding a comfortable position on the ground. And notice the contact of the body with the floor. Where do you feel clear support? That maybe you find your body very easily resting on the floor. If you would be lying on the sand on the beach, what would be the imprint that your body leaves on the floor? What would be the parts that are pressing more the ground that would leave a deeper imprint on the sand? What are the parts that are pressing more lightly? And maybe there are some parts that are not pressing at all. Notice the contact of your heels with the floor, the difference between the right heel and the left heel. Is there one heel that feels heavier on the floor than the other one? Travel up with your attention through the calves, notice the distance between the back of your right knee and the floor, the back of your left knee and the floor. Is there one knee that feels closer to the floor than the other one? Notice, do your thighs make contact with the ground or not, or just partly? What is the difference between right and left? Finally, notice how your pelvis is resting on the ground. The distribution of weight between the right side and the left side. Also between the upper part of the pelvis, closer to your lower back, and the lower part, closer to your tailbone. How is the weight of the pelvis distributed? Feel the shape of the pelvis on the right, on the left, on the top, your pubic bone. And then travel a little bit up with your attention and notice that maybe your body leaves the floor, giving space for this curve of the lower back. Can you feel exactly where is the point where your body leaves the floor? Or maybe if it doesn't leave, if your lower back remains in contact with the floor, where does it become lighter? What is the distance between the highest point on the curve of your lower back and the floor? What is the size of this space under your lower back? Follow this curve and notice where is the point where your body comes back to the floor. Follow your spine up towards your head, in between the shoulder blades, going through your neck until the junction of the spine with the skull. Notice for you, where is this junction? Where do you feel it? Feel the whole length of the spine, from your tailbone until the junction with the skull. Notice the weight of your rib cage, on the right side, on the left side, perceiving if there's one side that feels heavier than the other one. Noticing how your shoulder blades are resting on the ground. Is there one shoulder blade that feels more spread on the floor than the other one? Is there a shoulder blade that feels closer to the spine than the other one? And now, bring the attention to the back of your neck. What is the size of the space between the back of your neck and the ground? What is the size of this curve? Where does it start? And then where does it end, going from down to up? Where, in which point is your head resting on the floor? Is it more up towards the top of your head? Or is this point of contact more close to the base of your skull? Allow your breath to be free, your jaw, your tongue, your eyes. Allowing the head to rest completely in this point of contact. Now, please bend your knees. Place your feet standing on the ground. And then notice, now with the knees bent, what is the difference? Has the contact of the body with the floor changed? And then start sliding gently your feet until the legs extend. And as you do that, notice what happens with your lower back and what happens with your pelvis. Is there movement? So again, bend the knees, noticing as you bend what happens with the pelvis. Does it roll? In which direction? And what happens with the lower back? Did it get closer to the floor or further from the floor? Slide your feet again, extending your legs and clarifying for you what happens with those parts. Bend your knees again, bringing your feet to stand, and allow the movement to continue in the direction that it is already going. So your lower back will come closer to the ground. We'll press gently the ground. And then come back to the neutral position of the pelvis where it was before. And then repeat this movement, rolling your pelvis a bit up towards your head and bringing the lower back closer to the ground. And notice as you do that, as the lower back comes closer to the ground and the pelvis rolls, what else moves in relation to the ground? What parts of your pelvis come further from the ground? Where else in your body do you feel movement? How far do you feel that this movement travels? And then start making a larger movement. And increasing the movement going as well in the other direction. Rolling your pelvis downwards towards your feet and bringing gently your lower back away from the floor. And as you do that, notice what presses the floor and what leaves the floor in each moment. Allow your breath to be free. How is your breath now? And notice how far up the body do you feel this movement? Do you feel echoes of this movement? As you move your pelvis, rolling it up and rolling it down, what else moves throughout the body? And then just rest for a moment. Extend your legs if you feel comfortable. And take a little moment. Notice if the contact with the floor has changed. The breathing. You can gently roll your head a little bit to one side and then to the other side. Notice how far down do you feel movement when you roll your head this gently. Please bend your knees again, placing the feet on the ground as before. And continue with the same movement, rolling your pelvis a bit down, a bit up. And notice the length that you roll from the middle up and the length that you roll from the middle down. Is there one direction that you roll further, longer? Is it up or is it down? Is there one direction that feels easier to you or more familiar? Noticing your lower back coming closer to the ground when you roll the pelvis up and further away from the ground when you roll the pelvis down. And the spine being pushed and pulled, pushed and pulled. Notice the rib cage. What is happening? Does the contact of your back with the floor change? Notice the shoulder girdle. The pressure or the contact of the shoulder blades with the floor. In which moment the shoulder blades press more, and in which moment the shoulder blades become lighter. Notice the relationship between the chin and the chest. Into which moment the chin comes closer to the chest, and in which moment it goes away from the chest. Continue with this movement of the pelvis and now stabilize your chin, not allowing the chin to come closer to the chest. The head will maybe slide a bit up and down instead of rolling as it was rolling before. Notice what happens with the movement. Where does the movement stop when you stabilize the chin? If you follow the trajectory, the path of the movement from the pelvis up, and you stabilize your chin, where does this movement stop traveling? What's the difference? And then come back to do the movement as you were previously doing, allowing the head to move, to roll, and the chin to come closer and further from the chest. And see what has changed. Place your hands on the sides of the rib cage. A soft touch, the thumb together with the other fingers, not separately. And then continue the movement and notice what is happening with your ribs as you move your pelvis up and down. Notice how do they move. When the pelvis rolls down, in which direction the ribs move. And when the pelvis rolls up, in which direction the ribs move. Noticing the neck as well. And the shoulders. Now stop the movement with the pelvis and start the movement with the head, bringing the chin closer to the chest and then a bit away from the chest. Rolling the head up and down, ideally not sliding much on the floor, but rolling. See if that is possible, and how does this movement travel down from the head towards the pelvis, or does it travel? And then just stop and rest. Extend your legs. Allow your arms to rest on the sides. What has changed in the contact with the ground? Gently, gently roll your head from side to side, noticing how does the movement travel through your body. And stop. Bend your knees, coming back to the previous position. And continue with the same movement of the pelvis. And notice your feet. As you move your pelvis down and up, rolling, what is happening with your feet? In which moment the feet press more the floor, and in which moment they become lighter? What parts of your feet are you using to press the floor? Is it more the outside edge, the outer edge, or more the inner edge? Or you're using more the middle? Or is it the heel or the metatarso? How can you use it so it helps you? What are the parts that you can press on the floor that will help you more? You can experiment shifting the place where you press and seeing what is the part, or which are the parts that really help you pressing, that makes it easy. Place gently your hands as you do the movement behind your neck and touch with the tip of your fingers the back of your neck and feel what is happening there. Feel this connection, this dialogue between your neck curve and your lower back curve. Feel these two curves simultaneously as you're rolling the pelvis down and up. And then, keeping the hands there, just hold your jaw tight for a moment, closing your teeth. And notice, how does that influence the movement? What happens with the back of your neck? What happens with the movement of the head? As you continue the pelvis movement, but now with your jaw tight. And then let it go. And notice what happens. And then hold your breath for a moment. You can be with your lungs full or empty. And continue the movement and notice the difference. How does holding your breath affect the movement? And of course, let it go and notice the difference. Now, do the movement a bit quicker, the movement of the pelvis. Quick and light. Down and up, down and up, down and up. Noticing how does it travel differently when you do it shorter and faster. Down and up, down and up, down and up, down and up. Almost as a shaking. Feeling the whole body. How does it participate? And then rest. Extend your legs. Let your arms rest on the sides if they're not there yet. And roll your head from side to side. Notice if this movement of the head is traveling differently through your body now. And then bring it back to the middle. And do nothing. And please bend your knees again. Bring your feet to stand. And do the movement of your pelvis again. And notice, where do you start? Is it really with the pelvis? Is it the lower back? Is it the abdomen? Stop and restart again a couple of times so you can notice, how do you start the movement? The very start. You begin it up or you begin it down? Start this time with your feet pushing and letting go, pushing and letting go, or pushing and pulling, pushing and pulling. And notice, how does the movement travel up? And then come back to do the movement with the pelvis. Rolling down, rolling up, rolling down, rolling up. And then shift, start with the head. the head rolling down and up, the chin approaching the chest and then going away from the chest. And notice if this movement has become easier than before when you tried. If now the movement is able to travel down towards your pelvis and even towards your feet. Notice as you roll your head down and up, starting the movement, why do you stop where you stop? So notice how the whole body can participate. So the head can roll more up or more down without necessarily sliding. And then come back to do the movement with the pelvis. And just notice the whole body working together. Shoulders, shoulder blades, rib cage, feet, head, a spine. Notice your spine being pushed and pulled. Moving everything around. It's going up and down, a little bit like a brush. Tick, 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 tick. You can make it faster or very slow and very small. Notice the difference. Yeah. And then let go and rest. Notice the contact of your body with the floor now. The pelvis, the legs, the lower back, upper back, the head, the shoulders. What has changed in the contact of the body with the floor? Allow your jaw to be free, your tongue, your eyes, your breath. And then bend your knees. Bring your knees a little bit towards your chest. The right hand on the top of the right knee. The left hand on the top of the left knee. Not around, but really on the top. And then in this way, let the right knee fall to the right, and you roll to the right side, the left knee accompanies. And then you roll with the left knee to the left side. Your right knee accompanies it after. Just simply and gently rolling yourself from side to side. Then choose a side to roll, sit, come to a squatting position in your own timing, or if you need another way, just choose another way to gently come to your feet, squatting, and then unroll your spine, until you find yourself standing. Bring your feet more or less hip width apart and just notice yourself standing. How is it different? Feel the grounding, the contact of your feet with the floor, how you're resting on your feet. The inner dance, little movements inside, maybe some wavings of the spine. You feel extending this connection of the pelvis with the head through the spine. You can open your eyes, look up, look down. Turn the head right and left. And then have a walk around in your space, noticing how does this body that has appeared in this lesson integrates in walking. Thank you for joining me today in the Body Wisdom class. As we wrap up our time together, take a moment to acknowledge the new connections and discoveries that you've made within your body during this session. As you go about your day, carry these sensations and insights with you and consider sharing your thoughts, sensations, experiences, or any question that you might have in the comments section below. Whether you've encountered a new perspective or subtle shifts in your movement, I would love to hear from you. Your contribution helps to enrich our collective understanding of the Feldenkrais technique and its benefits. Thank you once again for participating in this class, and I look forward to our next exploration together. Until then, stay present and stay curious.